People are horrified on the internet because this dad did something that is straight out of one of my favorite TV shows, Hannibal, basically. So this father of an 8-year-old posted a Facebook post boasting about how he went out and with his 8-year-old daughter shot a deer. And
she shot the deer.
And yeah, she shot the deer, and then he made her eat the heart, warm, quivering heart. Now we have a photo of it, so as you can see, it's a touch vicious, I would say. And the shot in a bush block on a friend's farm last weekend. She made a tricky downhill shot using my shoulder as a leaning rest and shot with Dad's 7mm 08 at about 40 meters. It's a difficult shot. And deer hunting, when you're not on top of like one of those platforms, is actually quite difficult. So it is remarkable that this 8-year-old was able to successfully shoot down this deer. Now, there is a part of hunting tradition, let me specify, where you do eat the heart of your first kill. What do you think? You look shocked and confused.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm shocked and confused because I was not raised in a hunting culture. It seems like this is very important to this family. This is something that they've been raised with. I would imagine that it might go back generations and generations. This is a father that's passing it on to his daughter. Whether I personally agree with killing animals, I don't think really even comes into play here, because this was a dad that was supervising his daughter hunting in a weird way. I would liken it to my dad teaching me basketball. I know that it's different because a life was ended, but it's just, I have to chalk it up to the reason why I feel this pit in my stomach talking about it is because culturally, I'm not a part of that circle. And hunting culture is okay. It seems like they did it when done legally. Hunting culture is okay when it's done legally, and it seems like they followed all the rules that they needed to. Whether or not we personally agree with it, who are we to judge other people?
I agree with it.
Okay, great. I mean, I'm not going to say if I agree or disagree with it. It shouldn't necessarily even matter. Like I say, I don't think it should really come into play because I am so alien to a hunting culture.
Yeah.
My mom doesn't eat meat, so my mom raised me not really eating meat. I mean, kind of on occasion, but not really. So who am I to say whether or not this is right or wrong? I also had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine recently, and he said that he wants to, he's challenging himself to kill and eat an animal, if that makes sense. Because he's like, if I can't stomach killing an animal and then eating this animal, then I shouldn't eat the animal to begin with, which is an interesting philosophy, and we had a discussion about it. So
that friend wasn't me.
It was not you. To an extent, I kind of understand what this dad is, how he's teaching a lesson to his daughter in kind of the circle of life. Would I do this to my own children one day? No, I would not. But, I don't think that this dad deserves any shame. If you can't stomach it, likely you're not raised around this sort of thing. It's honoring, almost normal.
Well, look, in hunting, you're honoring all parts of the animal's body that you're that you
you're
hunt
supposed
down,
to. I don't know if people always do.
No, yes, but what I'm trying to say is like it's in a lot of ways it's more moral than just walking into a Whole Foods and buying a piece of steak that was raised from cattle that lived in horrible conditions. At least this animal lived its entire life in the wild as he's supposed to, and as hunters, we ended his life, and the dad is making good use of the animal itself. So I would make the argument that for all of the all of the anti-hunting people out there that will definitely criticize us for talking about this in not a completely negative way, it's possibly the more humane way.
I think it's also different because this is a guy from a Western culture. So we, as people of the same Western culture, we look at it like, oh, that's wrong. But if this story...
I don't.
Right, no, but I'm saying that there is that sort of gut visceral reaction sometimes when you see someone from the same country that we're living in, like, how could he do that? And I, have chosen not to eat meat. How? I don't understand. But if you were presenting the story and it was maybe a man from a third world country teaching his daughter to hunt and then ate the heart of a deer, I think the response would be totally different. It'd be like, well, that's just a different culture. And I think that's what I'm trying to acknowledge here, is that you can have
even
different
within
experiences.
Western cultures, there's still very different...
A vast array of human experiences and how people view the world and the circle of life. And while I don't necessarily agree with it and would want to do it myself, who am I to fault or judge someone, you know?
That's nice of you to say. All right, but we want to know what you guys think. Judge away. Leave us your thoughts in the comment section below on whether you think hunting
Judge
is
away.
moral or not. I'm Hassan Piker, this is Grace Baldridge, and we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.